You have the power within you to change your life right now in this very moment. You may not realize it yet, but inside you lies an extraordinary ability, the ability to choose your thoughts. That single choice, what you think, what you believe, what you repeat to yourself, is the key that unlocks your full potential. It's not luck, it's not timing, it's not chance, it's choice. Negative thinking is a thief. It steals your joy, robs you of opportunity, and blinds you to the beauty of what's possible. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, fear, and hesitation. It whispers that you're not enough, and over time, you begin to believe it. But today we are going to break that cycle. We are going to kill negative thinking once and for all. Think about how many dreams you've talked yourself out of. How many moments of courage have you silenced because that little voice inside said, "You're not ready"? How many times have you told yourself you're not smart enough, strong enough, or capable enough? That voice is a liar. It's not the truth, it's a habit, and habits can be broken. You see, your mind is like a garden. The thoughts you plant and nurture are the ones that will grow. If you constantly feed yourself negativity, you will harvest doubt, fear, and limitation. But if you plant seeds of faith, gratitude, and belief in your potential, you will cultivate a life beyond what you can imagine. This is not about pretending everything is perfect or denying your challenges. It's about realizing that you have the power to respond differently. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control what happens within you. You can choose strength over fear, peace over panic, growth over comfort. Let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who grew up in hardship. He was surrounded by lack of money, lack of opportunity, lack of hope. Everyone around him believed that success was reserved for other people, for those born in the right place, to the right family, with the right connections. But he made a decision. He decided his environment would not define his destiny. He started by changing one thing, his thinking. He refused to speak in limitation. He replaced every "I can't" with "I will," every "it's impossible" with "I'll find a way." He read books that lifted him. He surrounded himself with people who spoke faith, not fear. And little by little, his reality began to change, not because the world suddenly became easier, but because he became stronger. Today, that same man is a leader, a father, a creator, and a force of light in his community. He didn't get there by magic. He got there by mastering his mind. And if he can do it, you can too. Because the truth is, you already have everything you need inside you. The strength, the intelligence, the courage. What's missing is not the power, it's the permission. You must give yourself permission to change. But that change requires action. It requires awareness. It requires a decision right here, right now, to become the guardian of your thoughts. You cannot defeat what you're willing to tolerate. You can't conquer negativity if you continue to let it live rent-free in your mind. So how do we kill negative thinking? How do we silence that voice that has ruled for so long? It begins with awareness. Most people go through life on autopilot, letting their minds run unchecked. They never stop to ask, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeding myself mentally? Awareness is the first step toward mastery. Start paying attention to the inner dialogue that runs through your mind each day. What does it sound like? Is it encouraging you or sabotaging you? Is it lifting you or limiting you? Every time a negative thought appears, and it will, don't ignore it, confront it. Ask, is this true? Do I have proof that I can't? Do I have evidence that I will fail? You'll find that most of your negative thoughts have no foundation in reality. They're just echoes from your past, fears that no longer serve you. Once you identify them, you replace them. You don't just try to suppress negativity, you rewire it. You speak life into your mind. You plant a new message. You create a new internal language, because your brain believes what you tell it most often. If you repeat negativity, your mind will search for evidence to prove it. But if you repeat strength, confidence, and possibility, your mind will begin to align your actions to make it true. This is the law of focus. What you feed grows, and what you starve dies. If you want to kill negative thinking, you must first stop feeding it. Stop giving energy to fear-based thoughts. Stop rehearsing pain. Stop predicting failure before it happens. Instead, feed your faith, feed your hope, feed your potential. As we move deeper into this journey, you're going to learn exactly how to do that, step by step, how to become fully aware of your mental patterns, how to reprogram them with new language, how to cultivate daily habits that reinforce positivity until it becomes your natural state. But for now, let's start with one simple commitment. From this moment on, you will no longer be a passive observer of your thoughts. You will become the author. You will take the pen back from fear, from doubt, from insecurity, and you will begin writing a new story. Because this is where your transformation begins. Not tomorrow, not when life gets easier, not when conditions are perfect. It begins now with one decision: to think differently, to believe differently, to become different. And that is exactly what we are going to do together, starting today. Awareness is the first step toward freedom, but awareness without action is just observation. Once you begin to see your thoughts clearly, you must learn to challenge them, because your mind has been running old programs for years, patterns you didn't choose, patterns built by fear, by criticism, by experiences that once hurt you. Those patterns are like grooves carved into your brain, and if you don't rewrite them, they'll keep replaying the same story. So here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. You are the one who decides which thoughts deserve attention and which must be dismissed. Most people never realize they have that power. They believe that because a thought appears, it must be true. But thoughts are not truth. They're suggestions. Some are lies disguised as logic. When a negative thought enters your mind, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, this always happens to me, don't just accept it. Pause, breathe, ask it questions. Ask, who told me that? Where did this belief come from? Is this fact or fear? You'll find that most of these thoughts were inherited not from truth, but from limitation. The mind loves patterns. It doesn't care if those patterns serve you or destroy you. It simply repeats what's familiar. That's why awareness must evolve into authority. You must become the leader of your mind, not its follower. Here's how. Whenever you catch a negative thought, visualize yourself standing at a crossroads. One path leads deeper into fear, into the familiar cycle of doubt, hesitation, and regret. The other path leads to growth, confidence, and creation. You can't walk both. You must choose one. And that choice begins with your next thought. Start replacing those old thoughts intentionally. I'm not enough becomes I'm learning, growing, and improving every day. I always fail becomes every experience teaches me something valuable. This is too hard becomes this is challenging, but I am becoming stronger. You are not lying to yourself, you're leading yourself. You're speaking possibility where you used to speak defeat. Your words are not empty, they are instructions. Every thought sends a message to your body, your emotions, and your subconscious mind. Negative thoughts trigger stress, fear, and hesitation. Positive, empowering thoughts activate clarity, creativity, and strength. You are literally reprogramming your internal chemistry with every statement you make. Now I want you to become a detective of your own mind. Pay attention to patterns in your inner dialogue. Notice what triggers negativity. Maybe it's a mistake, a comment from someone, or a memory that resurfaces. When you feel your mood shift, stop and ask, what thought just caused that? Don't judge it, just observe it. The moment you identify it, you weaken it, because the mind thrives on unconscious repetition. When you bring light to it, the illusion fades. Then consciously replace it. Speak out loud if you have to. Your voice carries power. Say, no, that thought doesn't serve me anymore. I choose a new one. It may feel strange at first, but this is how you take command of your inner world. One thought, one word, one moment at a time. And here's something powerful to remember. Your brain believes emotion more than logic. You can't just say positive words without feeling them. You must embody them. When you declare, I am capable, say it with energy, say it with conviction. Feel it in your chest, in your breath, in your bones, because your subconscious doesn't listen to words, it listens to vibration. That's why affirmations alone don't work for everyone. It's not the words that change you, it's the belief behind them. You have to feel the truth of what you're saying, even if it's only 1% at first. The more emotion you attach, the faster your mind rewires. And this is where gratitude becomes your greatest weapon. You can't think negatively and be grateful at the same time. The brain simply can't hold both frequencies. Gratitude forces your focus toward abundance. It trains your mind to see what's right instead of what's missing. So here's your first practical exercise. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for, and don't rush it. Feel them. It could be something simple, the warmth of the sun, a friend who cares, the fact that you woke up today with another chance to begin again. Gratitude opens your mind to possibility. It tells your subconscious, I have enough, I am enough, and more is on the way. Over time, you'll notice the shift. Your internal dialogue will start to change. The negative thoughts will still appear, but they'll lose their power, because now you're awake. Now you see them for what they are, just noise. And as your awareness grows, your confidence grows with it. Remember this, you are not trying to escape your mind, you are training it. You're not fighting your thoughts, you're leading them. You're taking command of the most powerful tool you possess. And when you learn to master that, everything in your life begins to align: your emotions, your actions, your results. Because the way you think determines the way you feel. The way you feel determines the way you act. And the way you act determines the life you live. That's the cycle we're going to rewrite completely. But before we go there, we must take one more step, understanding how your words shape your world. Because what you think becomes what you say, and what you say becomes what you experience. In the next part, we'll unlock the language of transformation, how to speak with power, precision, and purpose until your words become the very foundation of your success. Words are not just sounds, they are forces. Every word you speak carries a vibration, a frequency that either builds you or breaks you. And the tragedy for most people is that they have become fluent in a language that destroys them. They speak failure fluently. They speak fear fluently. They speak limitation with confidence. But here's the truth you must understand. The universe responds to the vibration of your language. Your words send commands to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind obeys without question. It doesn't interpret sarcasm. It doesn't separate what you mean from what you say. It simply takes your words as truth. So when you say, I can't do this, your mind begins shutting down possibilities. When you say, I always fail, your brain begins filtering out every opportunity for success. But the same law works in reverse. When you speak words of strength, power, and confidence, your mind begins building a reality to match them. It starts creating new pathways of possibility, new channels of focus, new evidence to support the story you tell it. That's why you must become intentional with your words, because what you repeat, you believe, and what you believe, you become. From this moment forward, I want you to treat your words like sacred instruments. Every time you speak, ask yourself, is this building me or breaking me? Is this giving life to my dreams or feeding my fears? If your words don't empower you, don't say them. If they don't move you closer to your purpose, release them. Your vocabulary must match your vision. Let's make this practical. There are certain phrases you must eliminate from your language immediately. Words that sabotage your power and reinforce the wrong programming. Never again say, I can't. Replace it with, I am learning how. Never again say, it's too hard. Replace it with, I am becoming stronger through this challenge. Never again say, I'll never change. Replace it with, every day I am transforming. Never again say, I don't know how. Replace it with, I'm open to discovering the way. You see, every replacement shifts your mind from resistance to receptivity. It moves you from a closed state to an open one. And your brain, when it's open, becomes creative, resourceful, unstoppable. Most people speak unconsciously. They describe their life instead of designing it. They say, I'm broke, and their mind works overtime to make that statement real. They say, I'm tired, and their body obeys. They say, nothing ever works out for me, and their subconscious begins searching for evidence to prove it true. But here's the breakthrough. You don't have to speak what is, you can speak what will be. Your words can predict your future. You can speak from the vision, not the condition. When you say, I am healthy, strong, and full of energy, even when you're exhausted, your brain begins releasing chemicals that support that state. When you say, I attract opportunities that align with my purpose, your mind begins scanning your environment for proof. This isn't fantasy, this is neuroscience. Your words create the filters through which you see the world. But there's one key element that makes this power work: emotion. You can't whisper your affirmations and expect transformation. You must speak them with conviction, with energy, with a voice that commands attention. Because emotion is what seals belief into your subconscious. When you say, I am unstoppable, don't just say it, feel it. Stand tall, breathe deeply, speak as if the universe itself is listening, because it is. Every cell in your body is listening. Your subconscious mind is listening. The vibration of your voice is creating reality in real time. Now let me teach you a pattern, a way of speaking that multiplies your power. It's called progressive language. Instead of saying, I am successful, when you don't yet believe it, say, I am becoming successful every day. Instead of saying, I love myself completely, when you still struggle with self-worth, say, I am learning to love and accept myself more each day. Progressive language bridges the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. It allows your subconscious mind to accept new truths without resistance. And the more you repeat those truths, the more real they become. Now imagine this. What if for the next 7 days, every word that left your mouth was intentional? What if every sentence carried purpose? What if every thought you spoke out loud became a declaration of your power instead of your pain? That's when everything changes. Because when your words align with your vision, your actions follow naturally. You no longer have to force motivation. It flows from you. You no longer have to beg for confidence. It becomes your default state. The language of transformation is not about pretending. It's about aligning your inner dialogue with the reality you are creating. It's about training your mouth to speak faith when your mind wants to speak fear. And when you do this long enough, your external world begins to mirror your internal one. Opportunities appear, people show up, the right ideas start to surface because your words are sending out signals and the world responds to those signals. Your life is always listening to what you say. So from now on, speak like a creator. Speak like someone who knows their words have power. Speak like the architect of your destiny, because that's exactly what you are. And in the next part, we're going to take this even deeper. I'm going to show you how to align your thoughts, words, and emotions so they all move in the same direction, creating unstoppable momentum toward your vision. Because once these three are in harmony, transformation is no longer a struggle, it becomes inevitable. Alignment is the secret ingredient of transformation. You can think powerful thoughts, but if your emotions don't agree, the energy collapses. You can speak positive words, but if you don't feel them, they carry no weight. Real change happens when your thoughts, emotions, and words are in harmony, when every part of you is saying the same thing. Think of it like music. A single note is sound, but harmony is power. When your inner and outer worlds play the same melody, life begins to flow, opportunities align, relationships shift, circumstances rearrange themselves around your new frequency. But most people live in conflict. They think one thing, say another, and feel something else entirely. They say, I'm fine, but inside they're drowning. They say, I believe, but their heart is full of doubt. They say, I'm ready to change, but their emotions are chained to the past. That internal misalignment creates resistance, and resistance blocks growth. So how do we fix it? It begins with honesty. Be brutally honest with yourself about what you feel. You can't heal what you hide. If you're angry, admit it. If you're afraid, name it. If you're tired, acknowledge it. When you bring truth to the surface, energy begins to move. Suppressed emotion is stuck energy, and stuck energy keeps you from expanding. Once you face your emotions, you can begin to direct them. Because emotions are not the enemy, they are indicators. They tell you where your attention is and what beliefs you're still holding. If you feel powerless, it means you're focusing on what you can't control. If you feel anxious, it means your mind is living in the future instead of the present. Every emotion is feedback, and feedback is fuel for growth. Now here's where alignment begins. Your thoughts shape your emotions amplify your words, and your words solidify your reality. It's a chain reaction: thought, feeling, speech, manifestation. Change one link and the whole chain shifts. Start with your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, don't suppress it, redirect it. Replace "what if this goes wrong" with "what if this turns out better than I imagined." Replace "I can't handle this" with "I'm built for challenges like this." Then move to your emotions. The fastest way to shift emotion is through focus and physiology. Sit up straight, breathe deeply, smile. Not because you feel like it, but because it changes your chemistry. Your body language teaches your mind how to feel. When you hold your body in power, your emotions begin to follow. Finally, align your words. Speak what you want to feel, not what you fear. Speak your vision as if it's already unfolding. When your words and emotions meet, belief is born, and belief is what creates momentum. Let me give you an example. Imagine waking up and saying, "Today is going to be a great day," but inside you feel anxious and unmotivated. Instead of forcing yourself to fake enthusiasm, bring alignment to it. Take a breath. Acknowledge the emotion. "I feel tense right now, but I'm choosing to create peace." Then move your body, stretch, breathe, smile. Once your emotion begins to rise, repeat your declaration again. "Today is going to be a great day." Now your words and emotions are aligned, and that alignment carries power. The same applies to your goals. If you keep saying, "I'm successful," but you feel like an imposter, your subconscious rejects it. Instead, build alignment with progressive truth. "I'm becoming more confident and capable every day." Your emotions can believe that, and when they do, they support it with energy. Remember, your subconscious doesn't respond to what's fake, it responds to what feels real. The goal isn't to lie to yourself, it's to find a truth that empowers you. You don't have to jump from fear to full confidence in one leap. You just have to take one step closer every day, aligning your thoughts, emotions, and words one layer at a time. This process creates coherence, and coherence is magnetic. When your internal state is coherent, you start attracting situations and people that match that frequency. You begin to see signs, synchronicities, doors opening where there used to be walls, because the external world always mirrors the internal one. That's why people who live in chaos often experience more chaos, not because they're cursed, but because their inner world is out of rhythm. But when you align your energy, your environment begins to organize itself around that new order. It's not magic, it's resonance. So every morning, before you speak a single word, check your alignment. Ask yourself, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? Do my words match my vision? If the answer is no, take a moment, breathe, reconnect. Adjust your focus until everything inside you is moving in the same direction. When you master alignment, you no longer have to chase change, you attract it. You become a living magnet for everything that matches your vibration. Your thoughts set the course, your emotions fuel the journey, and your words shape the world around you. This is the beginning of true power, the kind that doesn't come from effort but from harmony. And in the next part, we'll go deeper into emotional mastery, how to turn every emotion, even fear or pain, into a tool for growth. Because when you learn to use your emotions instead of being used by them, you step into a level of freedom that most people never experience.